Greetings and salutations, everybody. We're back with more Dungeons & Dragons. Hooray!
Hooray!
When we last left our motley crew of adventurers, they had, dealt with the cult of, Ukaira, and unfortunately, Ukaira's avatar, or an avatar of Ukaira of some sort, which was a plus. That also led to the cavern they were in collapsing in on them, and a rift in space and time opening up in front of them. That looked much like the big portal gates that are dot the world. Options were stay in the cavern as it collapsed. Also, Ukaira's wrath was coming down, was showing up. That was probably not the best place to be. Or dive through the portal and hope beyond hope it led to somewhere not death. Congratulations, they didn't die.
Well, not yet, at least.
Well, yes.
I mean, I'll
Theta was particularly willing to spearhead this initiative through the power of science, which means that she threw things through it first.
Which is a good idea. At least it told you that things went through the portal and didn't come out the other side in the same room. So,
yeah, like they went through and like nothing exploded out of it, so that was good enough for me.
And they found themselves at the foot of a broken gate on a bluff overlooking a volcanic beach on an island with big forest behind it and what looks like not a dormant volcano. Mostly dormant, at least. There's like a little wisp of snow coming out of the top of it.
It's a napping volcano.
And they heard the roar of some large beastie thing off in the jungle somewhere when we wrapped up. And that is where we are at the moment. So, yeah.
So, Ceto's plan, as I stated many times last session, is to take a perimeter of the island off of the coast as her first course of action.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's your plan. That'll take up a good chunk of the day, probably.
Probably. I am speedy, but there's also, that whole thing about the wider the circumference, the longer the path. So even though I'm traveling it faster than I would on land, it's still going to take me a bit.
Yeah.
Yes, you're trying to effectively circumnavigate an island.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know how large the island is.
You don't know exactly how big it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to find out.
You will. All right, Ceto, since no one really can keep up with you in the water.
The closest person that could possibly do it would be Ingier. That's still only 20 feet.
Yeah, Ceto is 50% faster than you in the water. I mean,
yeah,
maybe even slightly more than that. I think. Was it 35 in the
water? My swim speed is 35.
Right. Okay. So a little bit more, almost double.
Yeah, almost double.
So Ceto makes like a fish and gets out of here.
More like a porpoise.
I was making a bad joke.
So you're saying you're moving with porpoise?
Yes.
Nefarious porpoises.
Maybe.
There are no nefarious cetaceans in the water. I will promise you that. At least not around this island.
I mean, it's in my name.
Like any asshole dolphins? Yes, they're all assholes, but they're not nearby.
Dolphins are all assholes, yes, but they aren't nefarious. There's a difference.
No,
some of them might be.
Are nefarious.
Some of them might be.
Some of them might be, but none of them are currently in the area.
It might be a nefarious cetacean, however.
Yes.
There's just a dolphin that's got an evil mustache.
But that one's not the evil one. It needs to have a top hat and a monocle to crest over to the next level there.
Then it's a sinister one, not a nefarious one.
Only if it's left-handed.
Nah, then it's...
then it'd be sinister. It asks me if... The nefarious porpoise asks me if I'm confident in my muscles.
At any rate, Ceto heads out into the water to attempt to see exactly how big the island is from the outside, and see what she can see in the water. We will get back to Cito in a minute. Because there will be things to see.
I'd hope so. There's sea all around.
At any rate.
I don't know why we're dealing with letters here.
For Cito.
Yes.
All right. So what is the rest of us doing during the day?
That is the question I was going to ask you guys.
Well, do we want to assume the worst is try to get either find some shelter or get some shelter set up?
I thought assuming the worst was going to be try to interview for another party member on the assumption that Cito dies. But okay, I guess that.
Well, there's currently no other people to interview around here.
Just start interviewing seagulls. What can you bring to us?
Plaque!
Glitz is like, I like this guy.
Cito, seagull, close enough.
I say we hire the crab. He's got gumption.
But
that one has a knife.
But like, building shelter. I mean, building shelter certainly we could work on. I think that with respect to all that, we can also just be doing some actual surveying of the nearby perimeter.
Well, you do have someone with an axe, so acquiring wood won't be an actual problem.
And starting a fire won't be an issue.
+1. I mean, no one's going to use it for anything, so I might as well use it to chop wood. I got a gun. I can cut down a tree with a gun, right? Okay.
I mean, if it's a small enough tree, yeah. I mean, cut is not the word I'd use.
The question is it a serious Sam shotgun? In which case, yes.
It's not a shotgun of any flavor, so.
So yeah. In any case, All
right. So
do we want to move as a group, or do we want to split up into pairs?
All right, so we're gonna scout the area, look for some place to hang out till Cito gets back.
Yeah, the question is whether we want to do it in groups, pairs, or Scooby-Doo it. Let's split up, gang. And
look, it's an abandoned island. I don't see any problem with us going off on our own.
Listen. The best thing that we could hope for is that we get kidnapped, because if that happens, that means there's someone else here. We could talk to them.
The great plan.
Honestly, that's not the worst rationale that I've heard.
That's not the worst idea. Yeah, shut up. I'll tell him. Shut up. Okay. So I learned a new trick. So give me a minute. And he starts drawing a circle in the sand, and constantly saying, "No, it's too great. No, doing it like you said. What? You were watching." And he sort of summons up three really mangy-looking ravens.
I was really hoping that they would be ill-tempered seagulls, so just seagulls.
Okay, guys, go do your thing, and they fly off. And he sort of sits down and opens up his wineskin and just relaxes. So in a little while, they'll tell me if they find fresh water or shelter, and then I can scout it directly without leaving, because I'm comfortable.
Cool. I'm still going to propose you come along with one of us at the very least.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I cast Flock of Familiars because
if he doesn't
decided to use it.
Or if he doesn't feel like moving, then we'll craft a Nezuko box and just stuff him inside of it and carry him around.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to make a plan.
It's adorable.
We'll get a cardboard box, put him in it, and then drill some holes in it.
Can we have the little plastic dome so I could look out like a cat?
No, that's what the holes are for. Also, we're not going to tell you where we're drilling the holes. So you just got to watch out for when the drill comes in.
Excellent. All right, so you've got your ravens. You've got your flock of familiars out scouting for already existing shelter and water. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, a reasonably sizable body of water.
Yeah, something that we could drink when we need to, which will be soon.
Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're doing that. You got your familiars doing that. Are you guys going to split into two pairs, or are you going to move as a group to do exploration?
I think 2 pairs would be probably best.
Okay.
No.
I will say what my personal recommendation would be is to have someone go with Kali and someone go with Cameron.
Mhm.
I'll go with Cam.
The reason I
Nah.
suggest that is that you have a fightery type in each group.
Mm-hmm.
You got a tank and a DPS in each party.
Glix is like, dibs, dibs.
I want the guy with the gun. You
I want the
kidding?
guy with the gun. I don't want to be alone with the scary lady.
And she was like, "Scary lady."
Kali just like looks around.
What's going
You're looking around too, like, what? Is
That's
somebody
not
else
true.
here?
That's not true. She knows she's scary.
she loves being scary. Okay. So, anyways,
I
so
get the feeling she wouldn't object too much to that moniker, honestly.
Now you've prompted a question.
Yeah.
What would her thoughts on Morticia Adams be?
Oh, but Tisha's just drop dead sexy. Yeah.
I'm asking what Kalia's thoughts would be.
Drop dead sexy.
All right.
I mean,
There's only one correct feed for.
I'd say that the funnier pairing would be Glix and Kalia.
well, that is
but
definitely
we're
a
not gonna
funny
do that
pairing,
now.
but that's up to you guys. I don't care. I made a
Yeah,
suggestion
yeah.
All right.
Okay. So who's gonna go first?
I could see some interesting things happening in either case, but in character, Kali doesn't really have a preference. So
That is
fair enough.
I
that is
just
reasonable.
realized that the tanky people are also the tallest.
well, yeah, there's more of us, more of us, so there's more surface area to distribute the damage across. So yeah,
Not to
Wait,
mention
how
that
old is Cameron?
All right, children, just hang around with an adult.
Cameron's not. Well, I mean, Cameron's tall only because of how short the other people are.
Yes.
Not
I
because
know.
he's actually tall.
I know.
He's only 5'10".
I mean, that's not short, so.
No, but it's not tall.
it's short to Skitch.
I mean,
Shorter than
it's
me.
short to me and Eric also. What's your point?
all you
short.
giants.
The two
But,
people of Nordic
any-
descent here going, well, yeah, 5'10
Before-
is short, but
Yeah, it's shorter than
Before
am.
I came, I got a net presence. I thought I was kind of tall, and now I come to find that no.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyways, so Cameron and so let's lead with, I guess, the party that's going to be most likely to get in trouble. Cameron and Glix.
all right.
is
So
going to get
the
in
question
trouble.
is, which way are you guys going? That's what I need to know that also.
All right. Let's roll a D360 to determine which angle we're going to walk away from.
We're not
Cam.
gonna
Straight
both
into
do
the
that.
sea.
I don't
You're
recommend
gonna
into
do
the
that too?
ocean.
No.
I thought we said we're not both going to do. I'm like, wait, are you thinking that too? Shit. No. I guess the thought is that Cameron, Glix is not going to want to go into the wooded area of the island, so it's going to be more that they're going to.
No, it's a jungle. It's fine.
Are
Jungles
you
aren't
sure
woods.
it's
They're
fine?
jungles.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
are you sure
jungles
about
are
that?
jungles are jungles, not woods.
I
That's
mean,
why they're
he
called
is-
jungles.
He is technically correct.
There's distinctly more humidity involved.
Oh, yeah, by
still
the way,
think
it
we
is
will-
humid.
Yeah. I think Cameron will basically propose going more or less the opposite direction that Cito went,
Okay.
and then treading kind of into the woods into the jungle from that direction there. So, sort of the broad thought there.
All right. Yeah, and I'm going to now throw up the that, and I'm going to shift you guys to something a little bit more picturesque.
Mm-hmm.
You can drop tokens here if you'd like. Something a little more picturesque.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you'll need tokens, but
Glix is gonna need to get it down from from being in the sky there.
He's hanging out on the beach.
Cito down in the water.
Oh gosh, 1 second here.
With the thing beaching, wherever that is. So
Mm-hmm.
breaching rather.
Yeah, you can ignore that.
It's like a turtle.
I think actually it's either that or a fish. Honestly, that might be a porpoise of some sort, but largely
Sea
relevant.
hag. It's a sea hag.
Give me your money.
I would say I would recommend it not be a sea hag. But at any rate, so all right, we got you guys split into your groups. So all right, Cameron and Glix are going sort of counter. Let's assume that Cito's going clockwise. You two are going counterclockwise. What is Kalia and Ignir doing?
I was thinking the other way, but fine, whatever.
Fine, you're going counterclockwise. They're going clockwise. I don't care.
It doesn't particularly matter.
It really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Encounters will happen no matter which direction we go in. So
Like Mecha's running the campaign.
What?
Oh, God, what kind of skills do I even have?
Okay.
Okay, well, first priority is to gather some supplies. So Kalia is going into like hunter-gather mode.
Okay.
Gonna try and gather some wood. Maybe we can find some coconuts or whatever, island based
Sure.
fruit. And if I see an animal, I will also attempt to capture / kill it because we need to eat.
Fair enough.
I know that we have supplies, but eventually we will need more. So.
Fair enough. All right. So that's
That works for like. Yeah, that
Okay,
works for.
You two are doing that. All right. What I'm going to want from everybody, so Cito, Cameron, and Glix, I'm going to want perception checks from you guys. Kalia and
All right.
Ingir, Kalia, you definitely need to give me a survival roll. Ingir, you can give me a complimentary survival roll or perception roll if you'd like.
Or a perception roll. Either one works apparently, so I'll just do survival.
I'm super perceptive.
Let me
If I-
click on.
I'm just not paying attention. I'm relying on the birds to do it for me.
There we go. Click on that, and then
I rolled bad. Everyone rolled bad.
Everyone rolled kind of bad. Yeah, Cameron rolled the best.
All right. Good to
Cameron,
know.
give me your die.
All right. So, Cito, so
Mhm.
far, your trip through the water is largely uneventful. I mean, there are fish, unsurprisingly. There's aquatic sea life. Although, okay, as you swim along, you rolled well enough on that.
Oh, less than my passive.
I know you did. You're getting the effects of your passive as an aside.
I figured.
Yeah. So, but your 10 matters for certain things that you rolled. That's good enough to. So I will say that as you swim along, you notice that there are lots of fish and other things. Various sea life. The one thing that's sort of a little odd to you is that you don't actually recognize any of the types of fish any sea life you're seeing. They look odd to you.
That's not ominous. Cool. All right. Nice.
So I'm not recognizing them. Are they still like typical fish size?
Mostly they're a little big. A lot of them.
A little armored. At least one sea scorpion.
They're not quite that old, Eric. Please. They
Why
do
are
have
the
sort of
fish
heavier
these fish?
scales, though, and they are bigger than most fish of the type. Like you just like, oh, that's okay. Most of them look a bit more. You see more predatory looking fish than you're used to seeing, for starters.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How big are their teeth?
Pretty big,
Mm.
but you are just large enough that they're sort of looking. They're not sort of. They're not really going after you at the moment, at least.
Like, all right, are you the pack hunting type? No. All right, we're square.
But yeah, other than
Mind
that,
if they decided to swarm me, I have an answer, and they would not like it.
no, that is correct. You do. That spell is actually kind of obnoxious underwater. Theoretically, now I'm thinking about it, given how sound works underwater.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
But yeah, there are definitely the fish definitely look more heavily scaled and more predatory and a bit bigger than you're used to seeing, especially this close to land.
Yeah, you don't really see that too often, no.
Yeah, and and like the non-fish, like the non-fish based sort of aquatic species are again a bit bigger and more heavily armored than you're used to seeing. Also,
Should definitely hire the crab.
I just see like a starfish. It's got Kevlar.
That
Well-
lobster's wearing chainmail.
Actually,
This-
you do spot one or two things you have seen before that makes you. They're. Hey, look, those are pretty big horseshoe crabs.
Hmm.
Oh no, I have an idea about what this means, Peter. But
They're going to be dinosaurs. They're absolutely going to be dinosaurs.
no. Anyways,
All right, so
I did.
that's what you see currently, Sito.
Mm-hmm.
I will get back to you again in a bit.
All right.
Cameron and Glix, you guys are sort of traveling around the outer edge of the island for the time being.
Yeah.
So you travel for about, say, how long do you want to go before you start heading inland?
Probably about like half an hour before we go inland. Nothing too far. So
Half an hour, fair enough. All right, so at the point where you sort of turn inland, Eric, one of your familiars did in fact find what looks like a river. Not a big river, sort of a stream, really, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And also mentions that it also sort of reports back that it can see what looks like a pond or a small lake off on some part of the island, off in the distance.
All right, hold on. Cam, give me a piggyback ride.
What?
Give me a piggyback ride. I need to jump into one of the familiars, and I can't see where I'm going when I'm doing that. Give me a piggyback ride.
Fine. This is a really bad idea. Okay, I'm just gonna. No promises.
All
How
right.
heavy is Glix?
Glix is only like 30, 35 pounds. He's skinny.
And with
Honestly, his
equipment?
chainmail shirt probably weighs almost as much as he does.
Yeah. Let's see here. What is Cameron's carry capacity? Cameron's just gonna say, I could just wait a few minutes while you take care of that.
Fine.
Cameron's strength is only 10, so he's not really strong.
You are a shooty type, so
Yeah.
All right, I'll hop into the bird once we're settled and explore it a bit more thoroughly.
all right. Yeah. The area the bird is in, it, you definitely can see it is a stream. And you do see the bird also notes. You also notice that there are. Give me another perception check, actually.
All right, I should do this with the bird's perception as
Yes, you
opposed to
should.
mine.
Mhm.
Let me find the bird.
I'm doing something while Glix is doing all this for fun, but I'll wait till he comes back to reveal what I'm doing.
Raven, Raven, Raven. Where? There you are. Perception +3, so I'll add 3 to whatever I roll.
Okay. Fair enough. So 15.
That'd be a 15.
Excellent. That's actually quite good. Yes, actually, there are tracks leading those spot tracks leading from the jungle down to the animal tracks leading from the jungle down to the stream/river.
What do they look like?
They look like large, sort of 3 forward, 1 aft, sort of toed. So basically large clawed reptilian footprints. Not gigantic, but reasonably sized.
So we got a pond and a stream. Looks like there's a watering hole for whatever local beasties are around. Looks like some kind of big lizard from the tracks. I don't know. Maybe a bird.
I mean, technically speaking, it could be a bird. Yeah.
Which direction is the watering hole from where we
The
are?
watering hole is okay. Assuming that you're sort of going counterclockwise, you're going assuming that you keep going. If you kept going around the edge you're going, but sort of veered sort of 45 degrees, sort of in towards the island about 45 degrees, that would take you in the rough direction of the stream.
All right.
All right, we'll go this way, and we'll I guess we can mark a path.
Well, so when does Glix come out of seeing things through the familiar?
Probably not more than a few minutes.
Sure. Once they do, the Cameron's just casually has his gun just trained on him just for the heck of it, just to have Glix staring down the barrel for a moment.
Well, I like you too. Thanks.
Listen, I'm just making sure that if anything goes wrong, I can just, incapacitate you
So
carefully.
wrong. I'm adorable.
You're adorable yes, arguably, but
Ain't
you've
no
been
arguing
arguing
about it. Solid
you've been arguing with Bob quite a lot, so I don't know. I don't know how that weapon of
I
yours
always
works.
argue with Bob. I just don't usually do it in the open. But now you guys know about him, and it's not gonna bother keeping on the DL.
Well, as long as you're the one that's in control, that's fine.
Definitely the one in control. Does this face lie to you?
Yes.
Often.
That is the correct answer.
That's the face. That's the face you used when you said you. If we were playing Go Fish, that's the face you used when you said, "I don't have any aces," and you had 3 of them in your fucking hand. All right, that is
Well,
your.
they
That
weren't
is
in
your.
the hand until I put them there.
Anyways, so where do you think? So where does your recon said we should go?
Go about in that direction.
All right. Let's just.
All right. So you guys are headed out that
Let's
way.
go.
You guys are headed out towards the stream.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Kalia and Injir. Well, you guys sort of tromp around a bit. Kalia, you find some trees that look like they'll be suitable to use for, making fire, either for, making fires or building like a lean-to at least. So yeah, you sort of you get to work on getting some wood and such. And after you sort of get a bunch together and start latching together, sort of bring it back down to sort of an area where you think would be a decent place to set up. I need a perception check now from each of you.
A perception check.
All right.
Perceptibits.
That go? No, I did not. Okay. There we go. That's a better roll for you. Not for me though.
Kalia is very
I'm
focused.
busy.
You're busy. Okay, Ash. Injir is sort of looking around as Kalia is sort of getting the wood together to move it. When you notice that there is you notice a pair of eyes sort of staring at you from just the fringe of the woods, and you see
Are they like?
they're very.
Are they? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ask the question.
I was gonna say, like, are they like glowy, or like are they like? Do I just see like eyes?
Well, you can see light sort of glinting off of them from the sun,
Okay.
basically. But you then very quickly are able to make out the head and part of the body of a fairly sizable lizard, with sort of somewhat sort of it's a sizable sort of very lizard you don't really recognize. In that it's sort of got a big sort of very sort of predatory looking head. It's got a big sort of almost like sail on its back, largely sort of with like sort of it looks like sort of got little spines that come off the back with like membrane between them,
Oh dear.
Okay.
and it's sort of staring at you. And it doesn't seem particularly like it's it's a lizard. Most like most lizards you've interacted with aren't the brightest animals, but it's got sort of that it is very clearly a predator, and it's got that air of sort of looking at you going, food or not food? Food, threat, or ignorable.
Mm-hmm.
So Jir, immediately kind of like nudges Kalia as like, hey, we got something looking at us.
That is the strangest dragon-like I've ever seen.
I've never seen one like it either. I hate to say this, but we do need food. Jir's having this moral dilemma.
Okay.
Where
Uh, i- is there something we could do to see if we recognize this creature in any way, shape, or
If
form?
you have, yeah, sure. Nature check, I guess. A more difficult survival check, maybe. Those are the two that
Yeah.
would be the most applicable, I would say.
All right. Well, I guess that I will try a third survival check. I haven't had any luck with it, so. Oh.
It's a big lizard. It looks
Right.
honestly. The thought in your head is like, it's kind of like a crocodile, sort of,
Right.
but not really.
Okay. Well,
Also,
if I know,
will say, Nick, you rolled well enough that these sort of its build and such sort of implies that it sort of tends to prefer hunting along like shorelines or small bodies of water and such.
gotcha.
Sort of shallow water.
Well, if there's a land crocodile looking at me, I am going to just heft my axe and see how it reacts.
Okay.
Intimidate.
I could, I guess, passively intimidate.
Sure.
To just try and like get, it's like, go away. 15.
Okay.
Go away.
It looks at you, makes sort of a sort of a sibilant, sort of a harsh, sort of hissing noise, and sort of backs into the woods a bit, and then you can sort of hear it shuffling around and turning around, sort of shuffling off. And when it does that, you can see the very sharp-looking teeth in its mouth.
We should make sure that we're not here in a little while.
Agreed. That he just grabs what little wood he can.
It's like, huh. It's a pretty. It's a it's a size. It's not quite. Yeah. It's it was they're not. It was not a huge lizard. It was it was a really big for a lizard.
Right.
Bordering on crocodile. It's small crocodile size. I think. No, it might be roughly crocodile. It was roughly crocodile, crocodile alligator size. But the big fin on the back and yeah. So yeah,
All right. So there's a Spinosaur.
that was not a Spinosaurus.
Was it that Metrodon?
Eric is actually correct.
Spinosaurs are much bigger, but that's
Much bigger.
Yes. That was
Also
pretty big.
bipedal.
Yeah. An actual Spinosaur, I've been like, I bet I wouldn't have been like, I can intimidate this thing.
I promise there's no Spinosaur on this island.
That's a strangely specific promise.
All right,
All
Cito,
right.
you continue.
You're gonna fight dinosaurs.
Cito, you continue your swim.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go along for a while, something starts sort of nagging at your head, sort of as you're swimming along.
Oh dear.
So you're like, something's odd. You're like, you're sort of like, you realize sort of as you're swimming along passively that you're like, wait, something's different about what I've been seeing than what I've been seeing here. Give me another perception check. Yep, that's good enough.
Lightly better.
Yes. Yeah, you sort of like you've passively noticed this, but the roll was good enough to sort of put the points together. You realize that it's sort of all of a sudden realize that a little bit ago, just all of a sudden you notice that like most of the fish just seem to have left.
All right, yeah. Cito's been sufficiently off the coast, like enough so that I could see, further out towards the shelf, but I could still see the coastline and whatnot. If there's nothing around me, there's a reason for that, and so Cito's gonna start cruising a little closer to shore.
That is okay. As you start heading in shoreways, you can see off in the distance a sort of large. You sort of see a shadowy silhouette off in the distance. That looks vaguely shark-like. Then you realize that it's not so much. It's like, okay, that's, it occurs. You realize that you're just like, okay, that's that's a sizable shark, pretty close to me. No, that's a really big shark, fairly far away, but sort of starting to cruise inland.
The Meg.
I was just kind of like, I was hoping for Sito to meet Coelacanth, but I feel like this is a bit more. So,
Coelacanths are adorable. This is not adorable.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, heading into shore a little quicker.
It's like, okay, wait, that shark. It's like, oh, that's a big shark. Oh, no, that's a really big shark. Oh, well, at least I have time to get inland. As you're sort of heading inland, you sort of keep an eye out on the shark to see if it's like accelerating or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of glance back over, and as you're glancing over, you see something that the shark clearly doesn't. Is that there's a large shadowy form moving up below it towards the shark in a sort of attack mode.
Oh my
Yeah, summon bigger fish.
Yeah.
Door.
Eric is again correct. It is a large four-finned reptile thing with a big sort of fanged mouth. You can't make the details out particularly well, but you can see sort of the four big spade-like fins, long reptilian tail, and big head sort of rubbing. Just grab the shark from the big shark from below, and just drive it up towards the surface. That is the biggest. That is the biggest sea reptile you have ever seen.
Oh, this is horrible. It's not. That means it's not a fish, so I can't communicate suggestions at it.
That is correct.
Like I was thinking, like that was my backup plan with the shark. Was just be like, "Hey, go over there," because it worked well before, and there's no reason it wouldn't work here. But yeah, this I would not be able to do that. No lie. I was actively contemplating using message to do that.
That is a not unreasonable thing to do for you. But yes, there is a very large predatory reptile out there.
Don't make me go on land. I just got back.
Well, on the plus side, you don't know.
On the plus side, it just ate, so you know what? I'm probably fine.
As long as you sort of stay clear of its hunting territory, you'll be fine.
Its hunting territory covers, the earth.
Well, watch. The hunting territory will expand to being inside the jungle as well, and that'll be just like. Well,
you are safe in the mosasaur once you get on shore.
Listen, okay, I'm just saying that's a fine twist. If this was something written by a hack, that'd be a fine twist to have in there.
You are safe from
Zito's
predatory.
Going to be doing that thing where she's like actively swimming like through the waves, so there's like resistance, and that sucks. But she's still able to go faster than she would on land.
Fair enough. Okay, actually,
like if she really needs to go on land, it's right over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the water's a bit choppier here than you would like, but you feel confident that if a large predatory reptile came swimming towards you at speed, you probably get to land first. You were less worried about predatory fish.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
At about this point, does Sito feel like she's covered about like to the halfway point, like the far side of the island from where she started?
No, you may have done a quarter at this point. It's going to take you most of the day to get around the island.
Okay.
All right. Back to Injir and Kalia. Not Injir and Kalia. Cameron and Glix. Sorry. I'm going to sort of keep the same parries in that order. All right, you guys have been traveling on for a while, and by the time you guys get to the shore of the as you head in through the trees and such, and you can very definitely tell that whatever animals in the area are just basically avoiding you as you start tromping through the woods. The jungle. I'll be kind.
Jungle, not woods. It's an important difference.
I'll be kind to Glix.
From the trees, got it.
Yes. As you tromp through the trees, yes. That way could be either.
Are they trees or just really big ferns? How far back did we go?
Well, you haven't traveled in time at all. I promise you that.
Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't tell you that, but I'm telling you that. No, this is entirely different. You get to the shore of the stream, and it's pretty clear that like you as you got closer, you heard animals sort of scurrying away. You guys are making enough noise that enough noise is the wrong type. That things are like, there's something different coming towards the water, and go,
Right.
let's steer clear for a while and see what it is. But yeah, you get there. You can it's definitely there's sort of an area of the stream here, which is where it's, there's a bit of a pool of water on one side, which has been well suited for animals to come up and drink at. And it's currently not infested with Dimetrodons, so hey.
Hooray!
But at about this point, as you're poking around, you can definitely see there are most of the footprints around here, around at least on this side of the stream/river, are definitely reptiles of sorts, like again, or I guess large birds possibly.
Not your typical mammals. What you're saying.
You don't see anything that looks like typical mammalian footprints now. You get contact from one of your other ravens.
Okay.
Which has in fact found what looks like sort of a ramshackle settlement type thing. That's what it sort of is. You get sort of the buildings.
Hey, one of the birds found buildings. I'm gonna check it out. Hold on.
Fine.
All right. As you peer through the eyes of the raven, give me another perception check. There's stuff you'll see even if you roll badly. It's just I want to see how much detail you get.
Yeah. That plus 3, so
4.
Yeah, that's good.
All right,
It's excellent.
All right, what you see is what looks like a. All right, so it's definitely a collection of sort of ramshackle sort of huts and such. It looks like they probably were built out of local flora.
Okay.
You don't see any signs of people.
All right.
You also notice what looks like the broken down and sort of rotted away wreck of a ship. Like you sort of see you can see what remains of this sort of the keel and sort of the ribs of the boat, but that's sort of mostly it. It looks like you'd have to get closer to get a better feel for like anything else about it, but yeah, because you did not roll well enough to see anything much else. Also, the buildings don't look like they're in the best of shape.
Pretty ramshackle settlement. I don't see anyone around. Looks like part of a ship, maybe? I'm going in closer. I'll go in closer.
All right. Yeah. By the way, this is about another. That's about another. On foot, at a guess, it'd probably be about an hour, maybe hour and a half foot travel from where you are.
Okay. Birds will be gone by then.
Yes, it would. They would be.
But yeah, I want to get in a bit closer. Poke around, like look in the buildings, check out the ship. Where's the treasure?
All right, you fly in definitely closer. You fly in closer, and it very much looks like an abandoned settlement. Like it looks like it's been abandoned at some point. The ship looks like the ship is definitely broken. You now close enough, you can see it. Like this is the remnants of a shipwreck, basically. But you see no signs of life in the settlement, in the sort of collection of not particularly well crafted huts, and it looks like it's probably been abandoned for at least several months, probably longer.
All right, I'll snap back in.
All right.
All right, so the settlement it looks pretty abandoned for a while. Looks like there might be a ship there, maybe treasure.
Okay. We can make a note about that for later, but I think for
Yeah,
now...
it's over in that direction. Maybe about an hour, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, definitely save that for later. I'll see if I can kind of make a loose note about that here. And the camera just sort of like jots down something, and then it's like, okay, well, let's
All right.
keep going towards this.
And now
these
I
bodies
need a
of water.
perception roll from both of you.
Oh no, both. Oh no. Let's see here. Terrible.
Excellent
Cameron
roll
rolled
for Cameron.
Yeah, terrible.
Cameron rolled well enough to notice, as well as you sort of turn around, you see a group of a sort of smallish pack of roughly sort of small, sort of medium-sized, dog-sized. Well, they look kind of like somewhere between. They definitely look reptilian, but they kind of look vaguely feathered. They're definitely sort of feathery. They're definitely predatory. Sharp teeth, big claws, bipedal. They're operating in a group of about like 4 or 5, and they're sort of advancing towards you guys, making hissing. And they started making hissing noises. And at a guess, it looks like they're honestly. Hang on a second. Let me check something on this.
They're Velociraptors.
Or Deinonychus or whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just kind of like over here. It's like, all right, you have raptors or whatever to deal with. I have kaiju. I'm not certain who's in the worst situation.
Well, these are actually they're actually velociraptors, so they're not very big. There's roughly these guys are actually I overstated the size. They're probably closer to like a big turkey, individually.
Yeah.
But they've got those big sort of sickle claws in their feet.
Cameron just sort of looks there. And
they're definitely moving forward. They're sort of doing sort of like they're very clear. At a guess, Cameron, they don't seem like they're interested. They're not particularly interested in a fight, but they definitely don't want you there. They kind of want to get to the watering hole, and they don't want you there.
Right. Cameron just sort of looks at that. It's out a little sigh. It's like, do we need anything from here, Glix?
I mean, water and look, they're so cute.
Yeah. I think they want to drink too. So unless we need water like right now, we can always come back here later with others.
I'm not gonna let some oversized turkeys tell me what to do.
That is, let me just double
Yeah,
check.
hiss at you too. I'm filling up the water bottle.
They start advancing.
We'll be out of here in a minute.
This is definitely not what we were taught in terms of field protocol. So I'm going to have to make a note about this. I don't think this counts as a demerit on your part, but
By the way, you've been drafted.
I've only got one demerit. I need to work on that.
oh no! I'm talking about just for this one infraction. I don't think it's going to count as a demerit for the first instance. In this case, Cameron just sort of like, just kind of keeps an eye on the raptors. One hand on his pistol if necessary, but he's not drawing it at the moment.
Yeah, you're pointing something at them. They have no idea what the hell that means.
No, he's not pointing anything at them. He's
it's
just
not
like,
okay.
The gun is holstered right now. He has his hand on it, but he's not drawn it yet. But he's just otherwise just sort of like.
Yeah, just let me know when the water bottle's filled up. I'm not taking my eyes off the raptors when doing so.
That is good. That is a good idea.
I'm giving them the evil eye.
They are sort of slowly starting to fan out to getting it sort of to be so they can attack from multiple directions.
Yeah, I mean,
your water bottle is basically full now, Eric.
All right,
yeah, we could.
I'll pull it out. I'll start heading back towards the beach, not taking my eyes off them.
So sort of moving away from the watering hole downstream.
Yeah, I'm going to treat these guys like a band of thugs. I'm just going to act like I belong there, and I'm not going to put up with any shit.
Yeah, and Cameron's mentality is very much, we don't belong here. So
right.
let's just.
If you are backing away from the water hole, they sort of they seem to be calming down a little bit. but they are definitely not moving out of they are ready to attack mode.
Yeah. No, this is definitely like friggin' West Side Story, where it's snapping fingers at each other while singing.
Oh no. Listen, I don't need any Steven Sondheim, okay, today. So just but
When you're a
Cameron's sort
raptor,
of
you're a
like
raptor all the way.
Cameron's gonna also think about were these animals things I would have known about in any of my field training classes? I
No.
don't know.
No.
This seems a bit weird.
Wonder what they taste like.
I don't know, but unless we need to, I would rather not start anything. I mean, we don't have any MREs out here, but
An MRE.
oh, right, meal ready to eat, basically. It's something that you get issued. Actually, Cameron reaches into one of his pockets and pulls out one of the MREs he actually has, because he has them from Academy and just hasn't used any of them yet. And it's like,
Rations.
what are these? It's just sort of like it looks like a tin practically just at the moment. Which, a tin can with like, what the hell is that sort of deal?
Oh, okay, you've got a can.
Yeah, in this can is food.
Okay.
But it's also something where you don't need to really prep it at all outside of maybe heating it in the field to eat it. So it's rations.
Oh, okay. So it's like dried like pork or sausages or something, right?
Right, except it's canned, not dried. I think this one's a cheeseburger. The trekking burger.
All right. Well, Kalia, you and Injur have pulled the wood back to the area you sort of scouted as probably a decent campsite. Also,
Good.
on the plus side, there really don't seem to be any animal tracks in the immediate area where the site you were looking at.
Nice bonus.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, you guys can start if you want to. You can start setting up. If you want to continue foraging and stuff.
If you do any more foraging, they're probably gonna be near camp once we get back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I figured there are plenty of ways to forage near where you are. I mean,
Yeah.
worst case, you can try to catch some fish.
Yeah,
I have a
Really
plan. I'm just letting things ride.
well, we don't know what the plan is, so we might.
Oh,
do
I
something that
know.
goes
I know.
against
That's
it.
why I'm letting things ride.
Yeah, if we've got like wood and stuff, I guess the next step is to secure food. And yeah.
All right, you do find what look like some sorts of. You do have found. By the way, you have rolled well enough to have found some sorts of plant-like food, like something that vaguely resembles a coconut, and some berries that you don't recognize.
Okay.
So there's that. And how would you like to catch? Your best bet, you think, is probably fish, where you are in your general area.
Right.
Based on your thing. So how would you like to try to catch fish?
Well, I have an idea, but it's probably the same as Cetos.
But yeah, well, that's fine. But what is your plan?
Injir could just find a place where there's a lot of fish and just breathe lightning into it.
You can go spearfishing because you have a spear, but that's an even better idea.
That is very similar to what I had in mind.
I feel like we're exchanging ideas, and Kali is like getting ready to trek out into the water, and Jir suggests that idea, and she just starts putting her boots back on.
All right. All right. Yeah, sure. Injure. You give me a either survival or perception check. Your pick. I don't care which.
Survival and perception are both the same, so let's
Okay.
go for survival.
Sure. 12. Okay. You find a shoal where it looks like you can sort of see some fish in there. You really can't make out details on them from above water, but yeah. And you just roll the damage for your lightning breath.
Okay, let's hit that. Go to actions. Breath of the Dragon.
I feel like Injur's going onto the water, and he's just like, "This is my best idea ever."
All right. Well, Kurzot. There are several dead fish now floating on the surface of the water. Basically, Kurzot, and then so you see fish that are floating to the surface. They are ugly-looking buggers.
These are not very appetizing looking.
Well, as long as
Big heavy scales, sort of, almost sort of quasi-armored heads. Looks like big sharp teeth.
Kalia, we're gonna need your axe to get through this. He just starts pulling them in from the ocean.
Yeah. On the plus side, your plan actually means that any of the fish that would have that survived that would have wanted to eat the dead fish are also like, yeah, no. that area bad. We're staying away from there.
Getting this weird feeling from that area over there. I have no idea what it is, but
no.
That water's been ionized for some reason. I don't know. That seems unsafe.
Basically, threat over there bad. Don't know what kind of threat, but obvious threat. There are other no. There are several other fish were swimming along. Then they stopped swimming and died. But yeah, you collect. I don't know.
Well, he rolled a 5 on the damage die, so 5 fish.
6 fish.
Sure, why not?
You collect 6 fairly sizable-looking fish, although
how much will you actually get? Meat out
of them will be tricky, but yes.
I mean, if I remember my Oregon Trail logic, we can only carry 100 pounds no matter how much we kill. So,
but at a guess, you probably have enough food for the group of you for the evening at least. Between that and the other stuff you scrounged. But yes. Between that, you now have you're able to latch together. Also, you two are able to over the course of next hour or two. You're able to latch together a decent looking lean-to. And
to keep the fish fresh, Injur uses shape water to make a kind of like a small container made of ice.
Okay.
It just put the fish in there.
Sure.
That way they won't rot before dinner time.
All right. Sito, nothing really interesting happens for the next couple hours, several hours. At this point, you're probably about halfway around the island.
All right.
During one of the times you poke your head up to make sure to keep sort of take a look at what's around because seeing what's on the surface also is a little bit helpful.
Oh yeah, she's been scanning the coastline as much as the off coast.
Well, the coastline seems like you see several large as you're seeming you see a couple of large reptiles, quadrupeds, sort of very clearly herbivores, sort of meandering along, sort of just off the bit off the shore, sort of in the trees and over there. Every now and stop, they're very clearly it's sort of a small herd almost, and they're just sort of eating leaves and such. But very clearly keeping an eye out. There are definitely a couple of them that are keeping an eye out around at any given time for. At a guess, they're actually herd animals keeping an eye out for predators. But they're also clearly sort of starting.
The fish that I've been seeing have been strange, but the shore walking animals are stranger still. I wonder if they're strange to the others.
But yeah, you sort of okay, yep, that's. But as you look off to the offshore, you've noticed that what you see what looks like off in the distance. Very clearly a storm headed, looks like they're sort of headed towards the island. And it not a small storm.
Okay, big storm coming. About how long does it seem like it's
You think you'll be back ashore before it hits, but it'll probably hit sort of mid to late evening is your guess.
Does it look like it's gonna hit the entire island or just part of it?
It looks like it'll easily hit the entire island.
Okay. Uh, moving ahead just enough so that, I'm not startling the local wildlife more than I need to.
Mhm.
Uh, Tito is going to cast Skywrite.
All right. Surrender Dorothy.
So, basically I can write a message in the sky that everyone else can see, provided they look up, which I imagine will happen eventually. And Cito is going to write in the clouds, on far side of island, major storm incoming, prepare net if food inadequate.
That's
Is that
too
10 words?
long.
Yes.
Oh, 10
10
words? Oh,
Yeah.
I
10
missed that
words,
part.
Yeah. I'd say
Yeah, far side of island, major storm incoming, prepare net. Drop the net part if you need to. Whatever, I'm not counting
That's
it out.
9. That's 9 words, so that's fine.
But yeah, you can definitely tell that like the herd of lizards sort of is clearly has also noticed the storm and are starting to head inland.
So this is something that Cito would know, as a denizen of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a shore walking individual, am not particularly educated on. Would it be more viable in a pinch to just go sufficiently beneath the surface of the water to avoid the storm?
Oh yeah, you would be fine if you went deep enough. If you went a fair bit below the surface, you'd probably be mostly fine.
Okay.
But
That's what I thought,
it'd
but
have
I
to be
wasn't
reasonably deep, but not like super deep, from what I remember.
Yeah, something like 50 feet below
Probably,
surface
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And it would depend on how major the storm is
That
in
too,
terms
yeah.
of how much the water gets roiled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully it's not a hurricane or anything like that.
I'm not
Or
even
even a
certain if
tropical storm.
Yeah, you're going to be
I'm
most.
not even certain if Cito knows what a hurricane is.
At any rate,
The wrestler from the early 2000s.
bum.
Al Snow.
Also,
No,
a
wait,
kind of cocktail.
Al Snow's somebody else.
No,
Gregory Helms.
Yes, yeah.
Oops.
All right. So, Glix, Cameron, what are you guys doing? Are you heading back, or are you?
We found a watering hole. We found a village. Like,
well,
do we want to?
abandoned settlement or yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Which makes it perfect because there's no one there to tell us to get out of their houses.
yeah, but the question is why is it abandoned and why was there a settlement here in the first place? But we have
Looks
to
like
go
a
to first
shipwreck.
to figure that out.
It's probably abandoned because they're dumb.
Or dead. I guess you'll say that they're dead because they were dumb, but
Yeah.
just semantics. Yeah, so not entirely sure. We could see if the others are back, but and check to see if there's been any progress on getting a camp set up or otherwise. But like you said, like what, the settlement's about an hour-ish that way?
Yeah.
I don't know. If we came across those creatures at the watering hole there, then I don't know what we'll run into over there. But
I mean,
what are you thinking,
dinner,
Blix?
maybe?
Well, possibly, but again, I don't know. Like, it depends on what you want to have for dinner.
Generally, I enjoy food.
Well, sure, but I guess my point is that is your instinct to go to that settlement now or later?
We should probably pick everyone up first.
That's what I'm thinking too. Let's see if the camp has had any progress made on it for sure. So we're heading back to camp.
Oh, you're
Peter.
heading back to camp? All right.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to worry about anything else for that. All right. You guys get back to camp. By the time you guys get back to, just a bit before you get back to camp, is when you guys do in fact notice the skywriting.
Huh.
Excuse me.
Storm coming. Get net.
Nah.
We need a net for.
And you're just like, I got some rope. We could make a net, I guess.
How's a net
Yeah.
going to help in the storm?
I'm trying to think of what that would mean in this case.
It could hold stuff down, I guess.
Either that or it's to, I don't know, try to catch fish during the storm.
Why would there be fish in the storm? They don't fly.
But
If
they'll
they
be
were,
moved
if they
around in
did
the
fly, they
water.
wouldn't be flying in the.
They would be tousled around in the water because of the turbulence, and then the net could catch them when they don't have as much of a chance to get away.
Okay.
It's just like, well, you can go at it. I don't think 50 feet of rope's going to be enough, though.
Yeah, I don't have a net. Do you have a net?
Let's see here.
Summon bigger net.
Yeah, I don't have a net on my person either, but I'm just assuming why it's the suggestion for a net would be given is all.
Mm-hmm.
So storm incoming. That means we should at the very least make sure that our is it a lean-to? Is that what we have here?
That's what you when you get back. That's sort of what you see set up. Also,
We might wanna
you notice that Kali is sort of like, I wasn't prepped for it. Like lean-to is fine, but for a big storm,
Yeah.
There is a village inland that my birds found.
Yeah, an abandoned settlement of
it's
sorts.
not inland. It's
more-
actually around the. It's sort of on the shore. Remember?
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Because the
there is a settlement that Glix's recon team founded, and it appears to be abandoned. And while it may not be the most sturdy set structures, if they're still up after however long they've been around, they have to be at least somewhat sturdy, I would assume.
Certainly
yeah,
more
it looks
might
stable
like
than what we
doesn't look like anyone's been around there for at least a couple months. So
What was that, Kalia?
It's certainly going to be more stable than anything we could set up in an hour.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we could just pack up what we have here and start heading that direction. And given the direction, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of, from my Peter, from my guess, it would be something where Sita would eventually come across us if she was circumnavigating.
It is in fact, yeah. She would. She is You. It is the opposite. You guys are going the opposite direction on the island that she was. So she would intersect you there. Yes.
Yeah.
Assuming she pops up above water, she would in that general vicinity. She would notice. She could notice that you guys were there if you did something to make sure that it was noticeable.
Right. Hmm.
Well, strictly speaking, we could just look at where in the sky where the writing's at, and that would give us a kind of an idea of the area she would be in.
She's
Right.
almost sort of directly opposite you on the island at this point.
I did say far side of island.
You did. She did.
Yeah. 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 Like again, it's parsing only 10 words into a lot of stuff is gonna it's like
Yeah.
So
Well, we could, I guess, head in the direction of the skywriting, and if that is roughly in the same direction as the settlement that Glix discovered, then we could just take Ceto there after we meet up.
well, Ceto is probably still moving. Is my only thought. So if we move towards the settlement, we're moving towards Ceto in any case.
All right. Well, other option. I will take my axe, and as we go along the way, I will mark trees very obviously.
With an arrow pointing in the direction that we went.
Well thought. Well done. Excellent.
Yeah, that's
All right.
fine.
You're traversing around the island. you see various other. You do notice as you travel around the edge of the island, carrying the stuff you've got with you. It's yeah. Again, as inside the picture, it has the wrong color, sand. But as I said, it's a volcanic island, so it's black sand. But yeah. As you sort of traverse around, you are not met. You see evidence of other sort of mostly the land fauna you see is reptilian. You do see a few distressingly large insects, but not to the level to. I get you get the you see a very the biggest thing you see is probably a very large dragonfly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say very large, I mean distressingly large.
Mm-hmm.
No, you probably spot a few. There are probably a few. There are probably amphibians around too. That I'm thinking about it.
I'm just imagining this comical scene where the dragonfly goes up to Angier and just starts lifting him off the ground. He's like, ah!
It's not that big. It is not. It is not the. I forget the. Oh God, what period was it? Anyways, it's not the period where there are these super giant insects. It's just merely big. This is a dragonfly that could probably hunt small birds, maybe. But yeah, it does buzz around you guys a little bit, and it's like, that is the biggest dragonfly I've ever seen. It sort of hovers, stares at you guys, then flits off.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
None of those are clearly small enough to be food. What are they? Meh, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys arrive at the settlement. It is, like I said, it is basically it looks like a bunch of reasonably well-built huts that are all look fairly run down because they've been abandoned for several months and have had to deal with storms and such without being maintained.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are pretty sure you could at least reinforce one of them before the storm hits, at a guess.
Right.
It would probably be a good idea to set up like a fire of some sort to at least to give Sito a chance to spot something from a distance if she surfaces.
Yeah, we'll set up a big old bonfire. There should be plenty of wood for such a thing.
Absolutely. It is easily acquirable. All right.
And,
we'll start
yeah.
we'll start a bonfire, but just setting fire to one of the buildings that we're not going to use. That'll work.
Yeah, the fire will be over there.
All right. About an hour later, Sito, you poke your head back above water, and you do notice that you do see the bonfire off in the distance. It's not that far away. You probably could get there not too long from now.
All right.
You can sort of like, there's a bonfire. Oh, it looks like there's some huts there. Huh.
Sito will come to the conclusion that either there are other people around, or that's her crew. Either way,
investigation is merited.
Yes.
All right. It takes you about
so yeah, she'll
half an hour to get there.
Yeah, she'll take a route where she gets as much swimming as possible before going back to slow mode.
Yeah. Well, again, you can get there in about half an hour without much effort.
It was nice to swim though.
Mm.
Like, boy howdy, it's been a while.
All right.
Especially after all those damn stairs. No stairs in the ocean. Ugh.
None. The party is back together now. Hooray.
Yeah.
I will say this, Eric?
Yes.
I am guessing that Glix is going to want to poke around to see if he can find treasure.
Oh yeah,
Give me an investigation roll.
Investigation. Yep, I definitely found treasure. These hard little brown things.
Cameron be investigating, but not necessarily for treasure, but for other things. Let's see what Cameron does. Cameron
finds some stuff. You do not find treasure,
Good.
But in one
good.
of the huts, you do find a somewhat moldering book, and something in a scroll case buried under some rags.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, so let's see here. So we got what a book and a scroll case, basically.
Yes, you got a scroll case and a book that sort of clearly has seen better days, given that it's been in a hut that has been exposed to rain and stuff. So
Yeah. First, he's gonna check the scroll case.
okay, inside the scroll case, it's not so much a scroll case. It turns out it's a map case, really. There is what
great.
looks like a map, a hand-drawn map
no.
of what you at a guess is probably this island.
Nice. Okay.
And there is observation. Oh, I forgot to mention one other thing. You didn't notice this word because the storm was obscuring it, really. I remember that. And I remember why I didn't mention this. Okay. It is very clear that from the far side of the island, from where you guys landed, where you guys appeared. So the island itself, sort of a map of the island. I will describe some things on important features. You see where the ruined gate is on the island. They found the ruined gate. They note down some areas where there are, like dangerous beasties live here, type stuff.
Nice.
Apparently, it looks like there are some ruins fairly far inland, sort of towards the base of the volcano.
Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of sketch of what looks like it might be a ruined temple or something, maybe. And the far side island, if you go to the far side island, the map does have what looks like off a fair distance off. They sort of sketch in what looks like maybe another shoreline. If you thumb through the book, it is very clearly a journal. A lot of the early pages are too water damaged to read.
Okay.
But you do find reference that it looks like it's the log of a sailor. Reading between the lines, at a guess, it looks like it was a pirate crew.
Definitely treasure.
Yeah, about the treasure.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess treasure is either not around, cursed, or both.
You're able to read between the lines, and it looks like the ship took a lot of damage during a basically the ship basically they had hit a merchantman, but unfortunately a
competent merchantman who knew how to fight back.
No, the merchantman was able to fight back and did okay, but as they were looting it, a naval ship belonging to Cardul found them as they were doing this. And Cardul, while not the nicest of nations, has a very dim view on piracy.
If it was going to be stealing shit, it should be us. Got it.
Basically,
okay.
Yes. Privateering is one thing. Piracy is bad.
But what about pirateering, huh?
Interesting question. But at any rate, so they ran away. And they were able to evade
the Spanish all despise him, but to the British, he's a hero, and they idolize him. It's how you look at buccaneers that makes them bad or good.
Wait. Is this what type of what is this?
Because when you're a professional pirate,
Muppet Treasure
I
Island.
thought you were just about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's the best song from Muppet Treasure Island.
It is.
Muppet Treasure Island is a treat, as an aside. Tim Curry is magnificent as Long John Silver.
Yes.
I mean, it's Tim Curry. What do you want? This is my only song. At any rate, they as they fled from them, they basically fled in sort of away from shore because they were being sort of herded away. They got kind of lost. They got hit by a storm and got a bit lost. And then they sort of got caught between they realized they were caught between two storms. One that was sort of one sort of between them and land, and one further into the deep. They're like, well, they figured, well, we know apparently there are islands in towards the sort of the middle of the sea here. maybe we'll find one of them. And they hit a big band of what was basically a band, like almost like a band of storm that just sort of. They thought they basically, we can just sail through this, or we can dodge around this, and they realized as they're in it, like this storm just is like constant in the area they were in, and it was bad enough that they really, in order to make progress at all, they had to make the ship lighter. So the heavy stuff went overboard,
including the captain. I got it.
Well, the heavy stuff that is not like cannot help with making the ship go, or would be survival stuff.
So the cook. They kept the treasure, though, right? They kept the treasure, right?
That stuff's important.
On the plus side, they did keep about half the treasure.
I like how Glix is all of a sudden is like there while Cameron's reading this out loud. It's just like
Glix is like under the covers with his teddy bear, but they kept the treasure, right?
They did keep about half the treasure.
Cameron's like, Glix, when did you show up here?
I heard treasure.
They did keep about half.
I didn't even say it that loud.
But I heard it.
Anyway.
About half the treasure was kept, but that was the half that was, I should say, the spoils that which they stole, because they hit a merchantman. So there was definitely like money and stuff, but that's like heavy and not stuff you can eat. And there was stuff they could eat that they kept, because
In the end, they had to choose between the gold and the rum.
They chose the rum.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I can fault them for choosing the booze.
But yeah, basically they made.
I like how Glix is like, but the treasure. I mean, Kali is like there, and she's like, there was no treasure.
The treasure was.
There literally never was any actual treasure. There was just currency.
You're just nods. The treasure was friendship.
Okay, so everyone's here now, I guess. Well,
I want gold.
We're just all reading over Cameron's shoulder.
Okay, do you want me to? Shall we wait till we finish story time and then keep an eye out for Cedo then?
Oh, Cedo will make landfall in a minute. Basically, other things of note. So not some odds are there's not much treasure here. You might find some coins and such lying around later. They did a bunch of exploring. They were here for quite some time, from what you can tell. They scouted most of the island. There's lots of little notes in here about the various large reptiles they ran into, and how the small feathery ones were basically referred to as, there's some really big predators here, but the little feathery ones are the scary ones. Not because they're individually dangerous, but they hunt in packs and they're smart. Stay away from them.
Yeah. Well, glad we didn't start a fight with those turkeys.
But
Sounds
there
like
are
John turkeys.
they do mention that there's at least one very large predatory lizard. Bipedal, probably 15, 20 feet long. Big sharp teeth, claws, surprisingly fast.
We're going to catch it, and we're going to train it to be a mount.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
They did find ruins, as I mentioned. They would have explored them more, but they ran into those. But there was a pack of those feathery dinosaurs in the general vicinity, and the scouts got ran off. They were thinking about going back before other things happened. But yeah, they lost about half the crew to two things between, we don't have proper medicine, angry lizards, large angry fish. I'm going to wade out in the water and fish it. Oh God, why?
Yep.
Bob got ate by the biggest shark I ever seen. He went out we crafted a raft to go out fishing. Then the biggest damn shark we've ever seen hit his raft.
Gosh. So we got pirates and dinosaurs. All right, all we need are vampires, and we'll be in Ixalan. Got it. Had to do with MTG reference.
Yeah, I got that. And on the plus side, there are no vampires on this island.
There will be ninjas.
I'll also point out for Eric's sake that goblins and Ixalan are monkeys, and they're kind of amazing. Anyways, so Cameron just sort of like, well, that explains a bit about what this place is. Is there a date on these entries?
Yes, actually, the later entry, like they stopped sort of keeping track of like whoever's keeping the journal did keep track of the date. The last entry is about 5 months ago, when the remaining survivors decided this island sucked and built a big raft. Decided they were going to head to the other side of the island, build a big raft, and try to get to the other island.
The other island.
Yeah, the one that you saw that you see the little the coastline of on the map.
Yeah.
Maybe that island will suck less.
Well, that's an interesting, optimistic thought there. At the very least, maybe that place will suck less.
Yeah, the problem is that the fish here aren't the best. There's fish we can eat, and there's some plant life, but a lot of the animals here kind of want to kill us. Like, look at us like we're food, and we're getting tired of that.
Yeah, and so like Cameron's just sort of like, well, a bit of information there, and between that and the map, we have a better idea of what the lay of the land here. So I'd say let's just keep an eye out for Ceto, see if we can wave her down in case she doesn't.
Yeah, she arrives at about this time, by the way.
Fire.
Ceto actually is swimming towards shore at about this time.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Glix has a pirate hat on for no explainable reason.
Well, he found it in the ruins.
Sure.
No. Like it's an immaculate pirate hat that you found for no explainable reason.
I do in fact have prestidigitation, so I cleaned it.
We don't have mending.
I don't have mending yet. No.
It doesn't have. It has a price tag still on it, Eric. Is what I'm saying. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, yes.
It is an abandoned village. There is going to be a spirit Halloween around the corner.
Of course.
To sell swords?
There is no shop nearby. I unfortunately, I am sorry.
All right, so Ceto will make her way in, and we'll pretty promptly just kind of flop onto the floor into an empty corner.
You have been swimming you've been swimming for most of the day. You are a little bit tired.
How'd your swim go?
Oh, it was wonderful. There was a part where there was a really big shark, and then a very larger lizard decided to eat it. That was a little uncomfortable. But it was over there, and I was not anywhere near it, so I was able to keep away without any trouble. But that was a long swim.
Yeah. We got some fish earlier on. So
we got murder turkeys.
Yeah.
You got some fish? All right, then we won't need the net.
You're just like you just see him like sewing it together. He just throws it on the ground.
Kali in the other corner is like, "Hey, look, I found a net that the pirates left."
Yeah,
well, actually, there is a net here. It's not a useful net. It's been lying here exposed to the elements for about 5 months.
And then let's might as well just get to prepping some dinner, and then just making sure that we're.
Has anyone found any kind of cave system or something to weather the storm
we found
through?
Cam and I found some fresh water spring. That's where we met the murder chickens. Bunch of trifling ass bitches.
Okay, because this is not a small storm. This is a probably going to rip trees from their roots grade of storm.
Yeah,
well we got this. This is what we got.
This is because these buildings have been here for a while, and they probably have weathered multiple storms before.
And they have reinforced this one at least. Whether it'll be enough or not, I don't know.
It's pretty plain on Sito's face that she's actively weighing the decision of staying here or taking her chances under the waves.
Worst comes to worst, Angier could just make like a 5 by 5 foot ice shelter.
That'll help one or two of you maybe.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna say
small
like
ones.
yeah, like Glix and Angier are okay.
Sito looks at her more than 5 by 5 foot tail.
Yeah, Sito could fit into 3 tiles if she so desired.
Yeah, but Cameron's like, we didn't find any caves when we were out there. Not even Glix's 3-point recon system couldn't find anything of that
Nope,
sort.
no caves were
So,
found. And there do not appear to be any caves drawn on the map.
yeah. So as far as we
Well,
know, there
that's
is no.
most unfortunate.
So this is probably one of our better chances outside of going deep in the island to avoid possible flooding, but these
I just had-
structures are at least
Yeah.
stable.
I just had an idea. Are there any like barrels that are like in good enough condition to hold like water?
Yeah, probably. There are barrels that you could probably patch up if you needed to, but like, yeah, I would say there's at least one barrel that's in good enough shape to actually hold water. Yes.
All right, so we'll get that barrel patched up, and then we just strategically put it near our shelter, like somewhere where it hopefully won't get blown away, and maybe we get some water out of that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the standard things that we would do if we had the means to is just make a wall with sandbags, but we don't
Yeah.
really have that here.
Well, as I contemplate an ineffectual idea, yeah, no, that won't even begin to help. So never mind.
I mean, for all it's worth, I'm not probably gonna end up sleeping that much tonight, anyway. So
Well, on the plus side, you do have food.
yeah,
Also, way off in the distance, you hear the first peal of thunder.
This is gonna be a good one.
Like, oh, here we go.
All right, we've got a map of the island
We do.
basically now. What parts of it have we explored, and how much of it remains unexplored?
You have explored, on surface-wise, you've explored maybe a quarter of it.
Okay. Which I assume does not include the volcano-ass volcano.
No,
Yeah, it's mostly the interior that
you've not-
we don't
You've
have.
explored. You basically explored the lower. Assuming that the top of the map is where the far side of the island is, you're on the bottom of the map. Let's start with that assumption for now, just for simplicity's sake.
Mhm.
You've sort of explored like maybe you haven't explored in super detail, but you've done a fair bit of exploring. Glix's ravens have helped a lot on that actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Cito's got the
Birds.
perimeter.
Yeah. By the way, your view of the perimeter matches up pretty well with the map.
Yeah, this island over here wasn't something I saw.
It might have been
Of
blocked
course,
off
that's
by
where
the storm.
of course, that's where the storm was coming from, so that'd be why.
yeah. That's where the prior inhabitants of this residence went to find out if quote it sucks less than this place. That's the technical term.
Well, good luck to them.
Do we have anything in the journal about how the crew would weather storms beyond just bunkering down? in one of
They
these
were not hit with
shelters?
They were not hit with any major storms. It rained a lot, like a lot, but there were no major storms while they were here.
All right, that piece of information, knowing that there was never a major storm that was weathered by the settlement itself when it was actively being, maintained, that's enough to convince Cito to take her chances under the surface.
When the storm hits. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's another option. How close are the ruins?
It's probably about a half day's travel inland.
Yeah,
So-
we're already
so-
hearing the
Cameron
storm.
hit
We're
us.
not gonna make it there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
I will say that Cito,
Mm-hmm.
the storm is taking long enough to get here that at a guess, it won't be the wind won't be the big problem. It's just going to be it looks like it's going to be a torrential downpour and a lot of lightning and stuff. There'll be wind, but it's not like tropical storm level wind. It's just
Right.
wind.
Just heavy. It's just heavy. A lot
Very
of
heavy rain.
Yeah.
The rain is heavy enough that you couldn't make it was basically like there's a black sheet in front of you.
Okay, so it doesn't. Okay.
But at a guess, okay, it's you know roughly how long it's been since you got it, and you're just hearing the fringes of the storm now, off the distance.
Mhm.
It's probably not super windy at a guess. It's not moving super fast. So
Right.
that's a plus.
Like I was able to outswim it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I actually looked this up after Engineer did this. Lightning strikes. It's only going to electrocute like 20 feet of water, but the sound of the lightning hitting the water will basically kill any fish within 300 feet, and it'll make any human being go deaf.
You probably you're not breathing a full-on lightning bolt though. So.
300 feet, you say? Thunder wave. The spell emits a thunderous boom audible out to 300 feet.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was totally not Cito's plan.
So I'm just saying maybe being underwater when there's lightning might not be the best option.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out in the water if you want. We've got more space to spread out here.
She's also got further down than 300 feet to go if she wants to.
She'd have to book it, and then she'd be pretty far away from shore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in order to get 300 feet underneath the surface of the water, you'd have to be pretty far.
You'd have to go off the
offshore.
shelf, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go off the shelf.
You
So,
have to go out
like,
to
if you're on the
territory.
shelf, lightning striking the water can be very lethal.
Yes. Turns out.
All right. Well, I am personally in favor of seeing if we can make it to the ruins.
We'd have to move. Yeah.
That would be a good luck if you didn't have to wait on the slowest person on land.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a road or a trail we could take. It would be through the wood jungle.
I mean, like if Cito's meteorology is sufficiently confident to the point that it is mostly just rain and not a whole lot of wind, then she's not going to be super bothered and would be fine with staying here. But
Just have a roof over our heads made of wood.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that we can hunker down, and then we're going to have to, once it passes, see about finding a way to get off of this rock.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to check those ruins to see if there's any information we can glean from them, that might
That sounds
be
like
an
a tomorrow activity.
Yeah. And in all honesty, the fact that these pirates didn't bother checking the ruins is a bit curious. I think they were too busy.
They're pirates. Maybe they did check out the ruins, but they just didn't find anything of note there. But we are a very different group than an assortment of pirates.
Sure.
The way I look at it is we're either going to need to follow in their footsteps and find a way to sail out of here, in which case we would probably be worse equipped to do it, or maybe there is something that we could do that they couldn't.
Sure.
So it's worth checking out, considering that there is a fair assortment of scholarly and religious knowledge amongst us. That maybe it's worth checking. Look, maybe we don't have to say it here, which I don't want to do because I'm made of metal.
I'm just saying. Like, I thought that the journal suggests they didn't.
They did not. They were run off by the Velociraptors and didn't go back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
like that.
We can kill them.
Yeah, that's sort of like my point with respect to that's like, yeah, like they didn't even check the ruins, so we have something
they
that
got to the ruins and said, ooh, ruins. Started mapping it out. Ooh, Velociraptors. They ate Bob. Let's leave.
Oh, Bob.
Well, Bob was a shithead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Nobody liked Bob.
Or Dave.
Well,
let's say Dave. They ate
I was gonna say
they
Bob
ate,
was the one
they
in the
ate
water.
Old Tom.
Dave they killed Dave Thomas.
Old Tom.
We called him Bob. That's what his body did after the shark
They
bit him in
ki-
half.
They killed dead Tom.
That Tom was always dead. Oh yeah.
He's called Dead Tom.
At any rate, so you guys are able to cook and eat the fish you have. It's not the best, but it's edible. The fruit and such that Kalia found is edible. Again, it's kind of tart, not in a pleasant way, but it's food. And is at least sort of like, okay, well, we've got sort of meh fish and overly tart fruit. But you finish up, sort of hunker down to sit out the storm. When the storm rolls in, you can sort of hear the rain approaching. Honestly, it's heavy, and there's lightning and thunder, and I'm not going to make you guys make any rolls per se because, your structure is there's not enough. The wind rattles the building. It is windy, no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's windy it's a really heavy thunderstorm level windy, not any more than that. You do hear one of the more ramshackle structures is broken up by the storm. But that was one of the ones that was in the least good condition, and you didn't spend any time reinforcing. So there is that. It is not easy none of you are able to get a good night's sleep because very heavy rain and fair bit of thunder. The storm eventually passes over. Sort of very early in the morning, sort of like somewhere between midnight and like around about 2 to 3 a.m. roughly time. It is a large storm that's not moving super fast, so it takes a long time for it to go by.
Oh, sure. That's not what I'm
just letting you know.
Contemplating.
I mean, personally, I'd never sleep better than during a heavy thunderstorm, but that's me.
Yeah, I actually really sleep well to that kind of thing myself. But
yeah, well, you're not partially.
I will say this: if anyone wants to try to sleep, Cito does have a spell to get that started. If anyone can keep asleep after that, that's on you.
Basically,
but
it would be if you were in a solidly built, very solid building that had that was even remotely weatherproofed. Sure, this there's bits of cold rain blown in through cracks in the wall, through some of the gaps in the walls. And there's nothing deadening the sound of the torrential downpour and the cracks of lightning that happen fairly often. But it eventually passes, and you are able to get at least some hours of sleep. And it is now morning.
I'm guessing this counts at least as a short rest.
Oh, you do effectively get a long rest.
Okay.
It's just that you guys are all sort of like you are cranky and like. You got a long rest, but it was not a good long rest. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
There's no mechanical effect. But yeah, a lot of the bushes and trees there's lots of sort of smaller scrubby bushes that look like they were sort of driven flat by the rain because it was heavy rain. You've got a full barrel of water.
Hooray! We have water.
It did not get blown away. Hooray!
Hooray!
Wait. So we have bottled LaCroix. Got it.
No.
Then we have barreled LaCroix.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an option. You can just mash some of the berries, put it in there, have some really tart berry juice.
But yeah, it is now morning. Your fire went out. Let's just put it that way.
Where's the bonfire?
That's some bits that are over there, and some bits that are over there. None of it is burning. It was very, very thoroughly extinguished.
Boy, I'm glad that it rained last night because we forgot to put out the bonfire.
I mean,
I think this is in the territory of no one cared to bother for that reason.
Yeah, that would be accurate, I would say.
This is like, why? It's like that's one step away from Pippi Longstocking it. It's like, oh, I need to water my garden. Let me go out during the rainstorm.
All right. So it is morning. What would you all like to do?
Cito's answer to that question is eat.
Well, I mean, yeah, I assumed I assumed food was going to be eaten.
Yeah, I mean, Glix wakes up, he scratches himself, like, gets dressed, puts on his shirt.
Yeah, Injure gets
By the way, also everything just feels kind of damp.
Yeah, like Cameron is.
So Cito feels at home.
It's very humid right now, is what I'm saying. Is sort of what I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay, that part sucks.
Yeah, like
My hair is horrible.
Cameron is just going to.
It's like taking a shower when it's like 98 degrees and 100% humidity.
Yes,
No matter how hard you try, you will never be dry.
you are correct.
Welcome to Florida. Anyways,
Kali has got her hair in a surly bun and somehow has a cup of coffee.
Okay, that is something that could be made if you were to start a fire and had coffee with you. And I'm willing to allow for that. So all of you have supplies. You can dictate what they are at whim. So
Go ahead, Sketch.
She has a monogrammed mug.
yeah, like Cameron is probably going to propose that once we are settled up and ready to go, we should probably move inland to try to investigate those ruins, because if anything, it's the only place that seems to be of note on this island that we can get any sort of information from, that we can, and then from that point maybe either find a way out using whatever we can find there, or going the extra step to actually getting some vessel designed to get us out of here. So
Yeah, I mean, we did see a broken gate down by the beach. Maybe there's something more up there.
So let me ask you all this, because you were seeing a bunch of the inland wildlife, and I saw some of it in passing while I was along the coast. The fish here seem very old.
I mean, we saw some angry turkeys.
well, I mean
What's a turkey?
the fauna on the island here is definitely something that I'm not familiar with at all. The species and everything else seems to be something that is neither of my time nor of this time, practically, given how it operates. So
Because I've heard, stories, and of course I've seen a few historical examples of those that continue to live, of mostly the kind of fish I were seeing were rather, you know, armored, had strong skulls, much like the ones that, we had for
sure.
provisions here. But I was also seeing ones that had, very, you know, predatory dispositions, as if, that's exactly what they were, designed to go through, while still being small, which is not something you commonly see in the modern era. So these do seem to be more anachronistic from the perspective of they seem to have just kind of not gotten with the times.
Well, either that's
Okay.
I would say that my only thought in that respect is the notion that um, if this is a isolated enough location, then there wouldn't be any pressures for change applied to the fauna around here. Therefore, the only threats they're dealing with are those that are localized to this area.
I could see that for the land creatures, but for the ocean creatures?
Yeah, absolutely. If they'll have a reason to move away from here, then they'll stay localized enough for it to be specialized in that respect.
I suppose, but the ocean is vast and anything could come in at any point.
And from what you're suggesting, anything coming here is going to be more threatened by the wildlife here than be a threat to the wildlife.
I suppose.
And Tyr kind of pipes in. This is a volcanic island. Why is there anything living here at all? If the volcano's gone off, shouldn't it have killed all of these land-dwelling lizards?
No. If it's a volcanic island, then like that shit's really good for growing stuff. Just have to watch out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Any survivors are gonna have a good time afterwards.
I mean, by that logic, there shouldn't be any plants on this island either, but they persist.
I mean, it depends on what type of eruptions this volcano typically has. I mean,
Yeah.
True.
It would also depend on which way the magma flows from the caldera. If it goes down the other way and not this way, then, of course everything's going to be over here.
That's true. There's like a whole half of the island we haven't seen yet. So
but like I said, I think investigating the ruins would give more insight about what's going on here. It may even provide some insight from people who might have lived here before any of us, before the pirates that arrived and were merely vacationers.
You're all making too much noise too early in the morning.
Too early,
I agree with
gosh.
Talia.
It's got to be like this would be, let's see here. This would be after morning routines. Shit, it's already kind of late. Anyways,
Colleen, she takes just a big drink from her mug and says, "Asking about Mortis."
We're on desert island time, so it is automatically too early.
And moist. Everything's moist.
On that note, Ceo's first course of action is to go hop into the ocean and feel better real quick, and then come back.
Oh, nice and salty.
Yep. Yes, I will cool off and be wet on my terms. Thank you.
I mean, admittedly, the ocean water is probably a lot cooler than it would feel on the surface after a storm. So.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the thing. She's regulating her temperature.
Yeah. So we just sort of like we'll just go ahead and I guess get going in just a moment then.
Sure.
To get to those ruins. So
food has been consumed, bags have been repacked, and the expedition towards the ruins sets out. You are able to, looking at the map that the pirates drew, you can pick out what looks like probably a decent enough route there that won't be too difficult to traverse, especially for Ceto.
I'm just saying, if these ruins have a lot of stairs, I'm going to that other island.
All right. Well,
I could just pick a direction and go, and I will figure it out from there.
We just get there, and there's just 1,000 stairs leading up the volcano to the ruins. Fuck this!
I feel at that point everyone would just leave, and not just her.
Yeah, we're not we are not talking these steps up to High Hrothgar in Skyrim. No, that's not going to happen. I promise.
Oh boy, this is the worst part of this game.
But you do set out. I'm not going to make what I would like for everybody is perception or survival, your choice. If you basically whatever you have proficiency in, if you've got it, in proficiency in either. That's a very good one, Ceto.
Literally does not matter.
Yay.
See, this is why I took the time to go and refresh myself.
Yeah, Cameron rolled a 19 on survival. Just
three of you rolled well enough that you're not going to have any troubles getting to the ruins with any predators. Basically, anytime you run into anything predatory, do not run into anything that you have not already seen. There's one. We'll go with the actual real world names for them just to keep things simple.
Murder turkey.
Yeah, you run into a couple of there's a pack of Velociraptors that notice you guys, but it's pretty clear that they're not actively hunting right now. So they sort of mostly just sort of give you. It's clear that you are not moving into their nesting territory or anything like that, and they're not on an active hunt. So
They don't care.
there's like they basically they hiss at you and want you to go away, but they're not being actively threatening.
There's also kind of the fact that for, like while on the prior day, the local wildlife did get a taste of the talls and the shorts. Now there's the long to consider, and they similarly don't know what to do about that.
Well, also, you're a group of 5. They do not badly outnumber you, and you're all of you
Yeah.
are bigger than them.
Yep.
So it's like
There are multiple reasons.
it's like okay, bipedial. That's bipedial. Bipedial, potentially a bad sign, because some of the more dangerous predators on the island are bipedial, clearly operating in a pack. Also, we've already eaten, so yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
Go away. Just shoo. We don't like you. They seem to be shooing. Okay, good. Keep hissing at them.
Yeah, we showed them.
You keep walking, and whatever you do.
Oh, they recognize slithering. It's like that. Why is part of that snake upright? That seems strange. Whatever.
I kind of want a body pillow of it.
I charge for that.
Hey. But yeah, no. In all honesty, like yeah. Actually, the one thing you do notice that is the one other predator you notice is the biggest constrictor snake any of you have ever seen.
Oh, that's why they recognize slithering. Okay.
Yes, there's a gigantic constrictor of some sort, but
Huh?
Trust in me.
but it's also sort of like it's just sort of you guys are basically not a threat, and it is not hungry, so it ignores you. It just sort of slithers along. But like it's a good 20-30 feet long.
I feel like it would have a problem trying to constrict Ceto. Just because there's so much Ceto. It's like, where are the lungs?
At any rate, yeah, you do notice as you travel by the pool of water that the Raven spotted, and you do notice there are a couple of Dimetrodons sort of hanging out in along the shore of it. It's in a bit of a clearing, and they are clearly sunning themselves currently. They sort of glare at you with sort of lazy sort of crocodilian sort of gazes, but you're not moving towards the water, and honestly, they're currently warming themselves back up after the storm. They're like, go away.
I'll be right back. I need more water.
Fair enough.
The best thing is, if I really wanted them to leave in a non-hostile manner, I have the toolkit to do it. I could deny them that sun.
Boy, they'd be unhappy about that. But
They'd be unhappy, and they'd probably want to leave.
But yeah, eventually, you do in fact make your way inland enough. After about half a day, you basically have to stop at some point, for lunch, basically. But not long after that, you do in fact get to the base of the volcano, where you in fact see the ruins. On the plus side, there are actually a number of ramps.
Oh, hooray.
So
why is
while
it that this fallen ancient civilization is more handicapped and accessible than the last ruins we ran into?
Because it's populated entirely by Yonti.
I hope so.
Well, it's not populated by anybody currently.
Well, you know what I mean. Was. Because I would actually track and I would appreciate that. Jeez.
But yeah, you head inside the temple. Basically, there are ramps that head up to it. The architecture is not of a form that. Actually, that's not accurate. Cameron.
Yes.
There are elements of this temple. This temple actually looks a lot like it looks like a temple of the ocean god from back in your time, sort of stylistically.
Huh.
The Lord of the Oceans.
Cameron will just sort of take a look at like some of the facts here and be like, "Well, that's comforting."
Like you actually see like if you clear away some of the moss, you actually can see like a statue, a relief of sort of a that sort of a there's a big panel relief of the Lord of the Ocean being worshipped by his followers and such. You see his sort of his holy symbol carved above it.
Yeah, Cameron just sort of like will gesture to those carvings to be like, well, that gives a suggestion about how old this place is, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Because I recognize that. I don't think I saw them at a party though.
Not most of the Lord of the Oceans did have from what you remember, his sort of territory was on his sort of biggest temple was on a large island in the middle of the very large island in the middle of the ocean. Basically, the continent that you lived on, you remember there being sort of a. Well, actually, I'm misremembering. Yeah, honestly, yeah, like you remember his biggest thing was sort of on was on the coast somewhere, like his biggest temple.
Right.
He favored coastal stuff. He did lead a nation that was fairly cosmopolitan. But was dominated by, honestly, the merfolk, and also there were a fair number of Naga who were part of that group. And you, thinking about it, you haven't seen a single Naga since you've arrived. Which
right.
That just hadn't occurred to you. Like, huh?
Yeah. Cameron will just relay this information to everyone, kind of as he sort of starts recognizing what he does from within this temple here.
For everyone else. Qu'est-ce que c'est Naga?
Yeah.
Was is Naga?
So if they were in the marine sphere of things, I feel like there may be some historical writings that Cito may have heard of at some point. No?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Like as well as things
clearly they were inferior, and fuck them.
It's like,
no, they were superior, but the gods were assholes. Listen, I mean, you said that out of character. I'm saying something out of character, so.
I'm saying you reference superior.
Yeah,
it's a Pokemon.
I don't. I wasn't making a reference to a Pokemon.
Unbelievably, superior is not the most inventive pun name you could come up with. So
it wasn't even trying to do a pun name. I just said superior by I added a rhotic component in there by accident. So,
anyways, but yes, you do see like there you recognize the like the mural has definite things that you like. Okay, those are definitely merfolk, and those are basically snake centaurs.
Yep.
Naga. Cameron's like, Naga.
Yeah.
So there's snakes on top and their horses on the bottom. Gotcha.
Yes.
No.
Jesus Christ, how terrifying.
But in any case, like I said, Cameron relays this information over to everyone else about like the deity and other facts that they.
He was one of the Lord of the Seas was one of the more militaristic of the gods from your time.
Right. Not the military I was part of,
no.
But one of the militaries out there was definitely under the.
Yeah, he was kind of a jerk, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, that's why he did go to any of the really cool parties, anyways. But like I said, I'm just sort of like letting the party kind of like take in that information with that. So on that front, it's like.
And there's definitely what looks like an altar in the back of the room you're in currently. It's not a very big, it's not a very big temple, and it's sort of right up against the edge of the mountain.
Like Cameron's going to wants to spend a little bit more time investigating things more closely, mainly because he's curious if there's any actual artifacts remaining in here, or even
you might be interested in that. Yes.
Yeah, or even
everyone who wants to look around, maybe give me an investigation check if they would like.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, Cameron
I don't
rolls
even
an
have
18.
proficiency.
Cedar
Yeah.
rolls a 21. Impressive.
Yeah.
That's-
I
it's
am
like
so good
Cedar-
at rolling today. Look
The
at
only,
me
the only two
roll.
people, the only two people succeeded are the person who's interested in the sea and the person who's interested in his own pass. Got
Yep.
it.
Look at this cool rock I found.
All right. I will
Hey, look
get
at
to
this mushroom.
Cedar.
This is either deadly poison or get you really high, or get you really high before you die from deadly poison.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah. Okay. So Cameron. Actually, yeah. You actually, as you're investigating around, you actually do find a couple of let's see. What do you find? Okay. You find a stylized sort of like sort of a smallish scepter almost. Which has sort of the Lord of the Seas sort of sigil on the as sort of the head of the scepter.
Huh. All right.
It's made out of it's metal. It looks like it was silver plated at a guess because it doesn't feel like it's actually made of silver. It feels more.
Right.
It doesn't feel that bendy.
Right.
It is silvered. With sort of bluish gemstone set into it.
Okay.
Looks expensive. Like it would have been expensive from when you are from your. It's got a bit of a patina going. Like unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be silver. Does silver tarnish or does it patina? I forget.
I think it tarnishes. I think
It tarnishes.
Yeah.
It's tarnished definitely. It's been here a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably worth
silver
more
gets
than that.
kind of black. Really.
Yeah, so it looks kind of blackish, but you can sort of smudge it and you can sort of see that it's definitely silver underneath.
Yeah. Okay. So there's
So that's one thing you do find. You also find what looks like a plaque on the altar, which is it's basically a plaque with a liturgy written on it.
interesting.
It's sort of like honestly, it's basically a sort of it looks like it's probably steel, made out of steel, honestly. Because it's not actually, it's definitely sort of, ironish, but it hasn't like rusted or anything like that. So,
Right.
and it's been here for centuries. So, yeah, in a humid environment.
They somehow found
Stainless
better
steel?
stainless steel than we have. Holy shit!
That's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, really?
It very well might be very
could
very
be
mildly
magic.
magical. Also,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cito.
Cameron will. Yeah. Good.
As you're poking around, you notice the same things Cameron does at roughly the same time. But what you do notice is the back wall, underneath some vines, there seems to be a very well disguised door. But you're not sure. You're not sure to open it at first. But you sort of poke around at it, look back at the altar, and you notice there's sort of a discolored sort of. You notice it looks like there's a very faint hairline crack around the plaque. That sort of lines the liturgy plaque.
Cito's going to head over to the plaque, observe that kind of outline, and is just going to push it.
Okay, you push down. You have to push down pretty hard, but eventually it depresses very slightly, and you hear a clicking noise from the wall behind you, followed by a horrific grinding noise, the sound of stone on stone moving very slowly over itself, as if it hasn't done so in quite some time. It's a hidden door that hasn't been opened in centuries. And the mechanisms do not sound happy.
Cito will take her dagger and carve off as much of the vines from the doorway as she can, which is going to be enough for the shorts, but not for the talls. Because she can't reach that high.
Well, but you do in fact see there seems to be a room on the other side. It is dark.
Hey, I don't care.
I know, I'm just saying, but it is dark for the Humies in the group. It is dark.
Yeah, Cito will scoot on in there.
All right. Okay, Cito, it is a sort of a roughly square-shaped room. You can't make out any of the details with your dark vision. You need light to make it more actual, sort of like embellishments and such. But there's very clearly at the back of the room approximately a 6 foot tall ring, a sort of standing ring.
Like a vertically oriented ring.
Vertically oriented. So basically, it's a circle facing you that is, made of stone. That you're guessing is made of stone and is circular. This should sound vaguely familiar, just much smaller.
Unless someone wants to come in here with a torch, Sita will just take some of the vines that she took, put them on the floor, and press them on fire to illuminate the room.
If someone wants to hand her a torch, they may do so.
I don't have a torch in hand, but
why would I bother having a torch?
Injir has a torch.
Be able to light things on fire, have it carry fire around is useful sometimes.
Basically, yeah. You're just always be prepared.
Hey, prestidigitation is a torch wherever you may go. It's just you might not have something that acts as good fuel.
Right.
The other point of notice is that remember dark vision is infravision in 5th edition. So if you have dark vision, you can't see in colors unless
that was my point. I was not giving
I'm
not giving any detail.
That's why I'm saying, all right, let's light this.
Yes. So what you see, what looks like, honestly, Sito is like, that is very clearly a miniature gate. It is not active, but it is fully intact.
Cameron's probably crawling in behind after Sito kind of goes in there and getting a look at the. And there are
tile fresco murals all around the room of the all with religious significance to the Lord of the Sea.
Nice. Cameron just sort of looks around. It's just like, yep.
There's also a small sort of stone block in front of the mini gate.
Yeah. Is there any impressions or otherwise on the?
Yes, there's in fact there's sort of a what looks like honestly a magical ritual circle on the top of the block with a singular circular hole in the middle of it.
Cameron's just sort of looks to see us like, okay, if I just do this right here?
In due time, let's look around a little first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure where the scepter probably needs to go, but yeah, I'm not sure how. If this does what I think it's going to do, I don't know how long it'll be open for once we hit it.
Precisely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is what the god of the ocean was like back in my time.
Yeah. By the way, the fresco murals in here not the most heartwarming. Signs of conquest. There's at least one sort of one sacrifice of a sentient living being on one of them. This is the sort of guy the Lord of the Sea was back in the day.
So let me ask you this: Does the impression that it kind of gives give off kind of a an oceanic superiority vibe?
Well, sorta. It's pretty clear that so Cameron, what I will say to you is, while the Lord of the Sea would accept anybody as followers, he did have a favoring for the merfolk and for the merfolk for obvious reasons. And there's also the Naga, who are not aquatic per se. They were not really aquatic. They were, but they were his probably his second most favored sentient species. But he definitely had followers of members of his nation of other species.
Right.
But it was sort of honestly you in character you wouldn't know this, but much like the way the tieflings are currently in Kardul, in that they are not de jure definitively
superior.
They're not de jure the only sort of superior nobility, but they are de facto that, and the vast majority of the nobility in Kardul are tieflings. In fact, the entire ruling family, The entire imperial family, most of the nobility, and basically 2/3 of the church, the church leaders.
So Cameron relays what he has to
But yeah, so the
Cedo
Nagas
about
and
what he.
the Merfolk are definitely the head honchos in his nation.
Right.
Mhm.
Curious.
Yeah, there is definitely a mural of what looks like a dwarf being sacrificed on an altar.
Yeah.
I get the impression that the Society of My Peoples in the past was somewhat akin to the Society of Modern Cardul, which I wonder if that's part of why we get along.
Possibly. I
On the
don't
plus
really
side,
know much
Cardul, as
about.
far as you know, doesn't do active doesn't sacrifice living sentient beings, but
Yeah.
they just enslave them.
Anymore.
Yeah, I like Cameron's like I can't really say much about Cardul. I don't think I know anything about that,
Haven't been there yet, so
but yeah, this is sort of like kind of the extreme components of the militarism that the god of the sea sort of exuded. I was not part of their military. I was not part of his military, but we learned a bit about it in case anything were to go awry. To say that they weren't aggressive, this would be a little bit there. But yeah, it's interesting how this has survived all this time too. Because gosh, this is such a. I'm surprised that there's any remnant from my time like this, but okay.
Well, it seems to have been largely undisturbed, other than the elements in this chamber is rather well kept for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
the air is, by the way, the air is very, very, very sort of stale, shall we say, in here.
Oh, you don't say. For my part, I'm wondering, was it really coincidence that the portal we jumped through brought us to a broken gate to an island that, by all appearances, seems to have a miniaturized gate that could well be functional?
I mean, it could be coincidental, but I'm not sure. I don't know enough about how the gates operate to say whether their destinations are, predetermined or are able to be modified one way or another. So it does also, given what we saw from the other gate, it also makes me wonder if the activation of this gate required some sacrifice in order for it to work in the first place.
Well, we certainly made a sacrifice back in that cave, if you want to put it in that perspective.
Well, maybe this Cameron points up to the fresco, in part depicts the creation of this gate itself, but I guess we won't know until we try to see where it takes us.
Let's see here. So there was the frescoes, there was the ring, there's the rock with the circulations that's probably going to turn on the ring.
No,
probably a
it's a
gate.
scepter.
Well, yes, I'm saying that's where we would put
There's
it.
sort of magic circle on top of the rock is what we're just meant.
Yeah, because I said
Yes.
like the ring. I'm like, there's no, yeah.
Yeah, that's the mini gate. Is there anything else in the room that I'm forgetting, Mecca?
Nope, that's all you really see.
Okay.
Hey, what are you guys doing? Glix eventually pokes his head in.
Oh, just learning the history of my peoples.
You can now see the interior of the rooms. Like it's about a 15 by 15 foot room, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Huh. Look, it's like a lot of not money. What's that thing in the middle?
What? You talking about the stone thing here?
Yeah. I start
It's
jumping up and down on it.
Well, no. Cameron pulls Glix off of it.
What?
It's magic, okay? Probably. It probably has something to do with that gate over there.
Oh, so he did find a way off. Okay. Oh, that's
Maybe.
even better than a boat.
Yeah, again, it might be, but we were just trying to make sure we had captured everything that we can from here before we attempt to do anything with this, you know?
Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a stretch,
Okay.
but I gave myself this skill, and I'm going to try and use it.
Okay. I approve.
For my uh for my background, I have the skill knowledge death.
Okay.
So if I study the iconography of the sacrifices and such,
Okay.
do I get a gleaming of if this was a regularly done sacrifice, or if it was, say, as Word was hoping, or commemorating just the creation of the gate, like it was a one-off time thing?
Okay. Fair enough. Give me the roll.
I was
10.
hoping nothing. I was only spitballing things.
Okay.
All right. You're studying the iconography. It does you at a guess from looking at it. It does not appear to be. It looks like it's a very from what you know about about that sort of blood sacrifice type thing. It looks like it is very from the mural. It looks like it's very 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 ritualized and looks like it wouldn't be something you do very often.
See. Okay. So done more than once, but probably not done if you needed to take a cab in town, kind of thing.
Correct.
Right.
It might not have anything to do
So-
with the gate at all directly, but it
Right,
might, also might.
right.
But yeah, it definitely looks like it was part of a big ceremony type thing.
Mhm.
Lots
Well,
of pomp and circumstance.
While Engineer's in there with everybody too, he's gonna take a look around and see if there's any iconography of the primordial beast of water.
Nope, not a sign of it.
Yeah.
He's not surprised at all, but nah, we saw who lasted longer, didn't we?
What was that? I didn't pick that. What you said?
Engineer said, "Well, we saw who lasted longer, didn't we?" About
Yeah.
the other god.
Yeah.
My God's
Well.
better than your God.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's some subterfuge that was done by the gods that are still alive in order to achieve what they wanted, but that's sort of my hunch about all this.
Engineer's just kind of a little taken aback. Subterfuge
Yeah.
from my god? No,
No, not
not
your
at
gods
all.
explicitly. All of them, all the ones that survived. I think there was some sort of subterfuge they all engaged in.
I mean, gods are kind of like politicians. They're all lying jerks. And then Glix immediately starts looking around, waiting for the divine retribution.
Yeah, but
Who don't pay attention.
Well, you're in the temple of a dead god, so.
I don't think Procyon is going to come back and beat you up.
Poseidon.
but Cameron just shrugs a bit. It's like, I'm just going on some loose thoughts here, especially given about how there is basically no information about any of these gods whatsoever, and not even from a standpoint of like the winners write history standpoint. For me, it feels like that the knowledge of these gods was meant to be never thought of again.
I mean, it's like, yes, people do know that there was a pantheon before the current one, and they are now all dead.
Yeah, and there's no other information about who they were or what they were,
Nope.
even from a purely scholarly standpoint.
It's been suppressed. It's been suppressed at least in some way, shape, or form.
And that to me is particularly suspicious. So, unfortunately, this one relic we have of this place is probably not going to be coming with us.
We know that the old gods fell. Perhaps the reason for their downfall is why they are kept secret.
Yeah, but why is it kept a secret?
Something tells me it would be very dangerous to find out.
Well, I've
Maybe if
already.
enough people knew about them, they'd come back.
Perhaps. Or perhaps the gods attempted to do something that brought about their own downfall. Perhaps there was a conflict, the nature of which the current gods wished to be kept secret. Who knows?
All possibilities, but from my standpoint, like I said, the gods that exist now are not the ones that I knew of growing up. And among other things, well, predominantly, they're not the ones I grew up with. And something about this leads me to inherently distrust them. But it's neither here nor there. In any case, if no one's opposed to it, I have a guess as to what we can do with this scepter here, and it might mean that we might end up getting off of this island sooner than expected. But is there any
I'm on board.
objections to that?
Was there any other buildings in the ruins for
Nope,
Sue?
none that were nothing. You found nothing. You've done some exploring. Most of the rest of the ruins are kind of are more ruinated than this one, and yeah, it's not really finding much of anything beyond this.
Well, then seems like that may be the best option. Let's hope it doesn't turn on the volcano.
Well,
Well,
if it does, we'll leave when we'll be leaving anyway.
all right. Well, here we go.
Given the
Okay.
relative diminutiveness of this potential gate, I wonder if that means its range is limited and it'll simply take us as far as the other island.
Well, there's only one way to find out, I guess. And then Cameron will take the scepter and put it into the hole on the little stone altar thing in front of the gate.
All right, you slot it in. You hear a clicking noise as it sort of settles in, and then the magic circle on top lights up, and the gems on the top of this and on the head of the scepter also light up along with it. And you see a blue line sort of go down the side of down the side of the stone block that faces the mini gate, runs along the floor into the gate, runs around the ring of the gate up to the top. Sort of goes up, splits, and the line sort of splits at the bottom of the gate and goes up each side and meets the top. And when it meets the top, you hear a sort of a deep bass humming noise start. And then you hear a faint sort of ripping noise out of nowhere. And then you see basically a tear open the gate, and it forms a perfect circle inside the middle of the ring. And it looks like the interior of one of the gates when it's active.
Cito will toss a candle through.
It does what you would expect it to. If you were tossing it through a gate.
Well,
Yep.
Right, Cameron's like, well, okay.
That seems familiar.
Yep, I'll go ahead and pick that up for you then. And Cameron just sees himself through the gate, just right then and there.
All right, you walk through the gate.
Oh, rude! And Cito dives through the gate.
Injir is like, I'm not going to be the last one this time. Just goes through.
looks at Kyla. Ladies first.
I do not have a title.
Well, fine. Lords first then, and I walk through.
While she's got some time to herself, Kali is going to look around the temple, and she's just going to kind of think for a little bit. I don't think that my investigation is good enough to actually be able to find anything privately. But I don't know. I'm going to take one last look at the altar, I guess. And I'm going to just see if anything stands out to me. Is mostly with just like a focus on my religious background.
All right.
Very specifically.
You give me a religion or knowledge death check if you'd like, either or.
Yeah, let's do a religion this time. I rolled a 2.
Yeah. Nope. Nothing. I mean, I will give you the sort of the passive effect on that. It's very clearly a religious altar dedicated to a god you are not that familiar with. Although, it's like, yeah,
well, it's gone now.
Yeah,
so
it's very clearly a religious altar for a god who is dead.
See, this is the kind of thing where if I had modern technology, I would take some pictures to go and share with some people at the temple when I get back. I guess I will take some notes.
Do
I
you
think
have? Oh damn it! I forget what I
charcoal.
forget what it's probably called, but do you have like a carbon sheet?
I
Yeah,
mean,
or something
if
that
you
can
got
act like
if you
a
got
carbon
if
sheet.
you got Nick, I'll say this: it occurs to you that you might
Mhm.
have that you probably have some paper and some charcoal in your pack,
yeah,
and you could do
I
a rubbing
should.
of the plaque.
I should. I was gonna say like I should
A rubbing
copy some
kit. That's
stuff
what I
down
was
if I
trying to
can.
think of. Yeah.
And I will get as much of it as I can.
Yep.
And hell, I'll take a little bit of time if it seems like the gate's gonna stay open,
Mhm.
but I'm not gonna dilly dally just in case.
You do notice that by the time you finish the taking the rubbing and sort of get things nice and neated, that the gate looks like it's beginning to fade.
I will pocket it and make sure that I've got all my stuff, and then I will step through.
You step to the gate. You all find yourselves on the other side of the gate. You are standing in what looks like a much more intact open air sort of temple, kind of like sort of vaguely like a mini Parthenon almost.
Similar iconography to the
It's
prior
same
one.
same iconography. It is definitely a temple to the King of the Sea. It is standing in a temple that is in the middle of the jungle, and you see a well-worn path leading away from the temple. You also see a couple of very surprised-looking, what look like, honestly, guards, honestly, where they're wearing sort of a... they're wearing hide armor. They're wielding, they're wielding basically what look like I can't remember I can't remember the name of it. The Aztec wooden swords with the obsidian blades in them.
Blades.
The
Maserati.
yeah.
Yeah, they're wielding those. They're sort of wielding things that look like those. They look up and they look very surprised to see. They basically they've been staring up at it since the gate opened, is your impression, and then you guys all stepped out. And one of them says, "Wait, that thing's functional?"
Yeah, sure was.
Evidently.
Just had booted up, you know.
Are these guards bipedal?
Oh yeah, they're human.
Mild disappointment.
They look very surprised.
Right.
And as Kalia steps out, the gate sort of fades out after Kalia steps through. About 30 seconds after she steps through.
I wonder if we should have taken the scepter with us. Whatever. It's still over there, safe.
I don't know if it would have come with us.
Yeah.
I know, but that's just what Cameron's saying, just like in character, he's saying that.
Gotcha.
Well, is this how you guys treat heralds? Come on. Where's the food?
Heralds?
Where's the ceremony?
Wait, you...
Cito just slaps
Oi,
him
fuck you! I'll slap you back.
With her tail.
Yeah.
Ow! I'll slap you back.
Cameron will just say,
I'm gonna charge for that.
Cameron's going to remark.
Honey, I don't charge you for being allowed to slap me.
Cameron is going to try to remark over this because I have 6 minutes before work.
Yeah, I was wrapping up. I was trying to wrap up.
Yeah, just like, so how long y'all been standing guard here for?
Well, it's part of our regular rotation. Just we're making sure nobody busts in here and steals anything from here. There's some somewhat valuable stuff. Where did you guys come from? Wait, never mind. You should probably come with us and talk to the village elder.
Sure.
That sounds fabulous. We haven't seen anyone worth talking to for a while.
Yeah, that's probably
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a quick look around.
Yep.
Does it basically look like the same place that we came from?
It
In terms of
fauna
I
and
guess
flora,
climate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar. Yes.
I'm gonna look at one of the guards and say, "What year is it?"
He looks like he says he lists off basically it lists off the year you guys were in.
Okay.
Well, according to our calendars, it should be roughly lists off the year.
889 or whatever.
889. Sure, we'll go with that.
It's a nice, fun number to say.
Yes.
Yeah. So Cameron's just.
By the way, did you have a big storm last night?
Yesterday afternoon.
We might have been. Oh, okay.
Sounds like we are on the other island.
Yeah. Huh. I guess we might find out about those pirates sooner than later. Anyways,
Maybe.
But that is where we're going to leave things for this week because
Mhm.
I have other stuff I need to prep before you guys actually go talk to the village.
yeah, fair enough.
And Sketch has to get going. So, thank you
Mhm.
everybody for watching. I hope everyone who watched enjoyed. Thank you guys for playing. I hope you guys had fun playing today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Excellent.
different one.
So thank you everybody. If you're listening to us on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the usual stuff. Do it. Pass it around. Let people know about it if you enjoyed it. Think other people might enjoy watching this. And that's going to do it for this week. We should be back, I think, probably be back next week.
Probably,
Should be.
barring
I have no reason to not be.
All right. Barring shenanigans, we'll probably be back next week. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.